Welcome back. Under the Trump administration, one piece of legislation that gained some attention was Migrant Protection Protocols, or MPP. It required asylum seekers to wait in Mexico for their cases to be heard in the U.S.
And all along the border, migrant camps or tent cities were set up by asylum seekers where they waited until they could enter the U.S. One of the biggest camps was across from Brownsville in Matamoros. Hundreds of immigrants lived in the camp for about 2 years due to what lawmakers say is a backlog on immigration cases. When President Biden took office in January, he issued his own reform and did away with the MPP program, allowing asylum seekers to enter the U.S. and wait for hearings here. But when it comes to immigration hearings and deciding whether cases are accepted or denied, Congressman Henry Cuellar says out of every 100 immigrations, about 88 cases will be denied.
You know, we're trying to give folks a fair process before an immigration judge. But keep in mind that if somebody goes before an immigration judge, let's say you have 100 people, according to the immigration judges, they will tell you that out of 100, 88% are going to be rejected and only 12% will be accepted. So that's why we want to give them their day in court, and the ones that are allowed in, we say bienvenidos. But the other ones, the law says that they might have to be returned. I mean, that's what the law is.
And for those whose cases are denied, it can feel like the end of a dream. I spoke with experts on this topic and bring you an in-depth look into the why behind denied asylum cases.
And if you have 100 people that ask for asylum in front of an immigration judge, about 88% will be rejected and 12% will be granted asylum.
Those staggering differences in percentages, Congressman Henry Cuellar says, because a lot of the cases that they see from Central America don't fall under the asylum law.
The asylum law says that there has to be a persecution by the state to show, to be allowed under asylum. So a crime committed by a criminal organization is not the same thing as persecution by the state.
He says the number of asylum cases that they see is what they call credible fear.
Somebody will come in and say, I fear for my life in the country I'm in, what we call credible fear. Asylum officer says, yes, there is reasonable, proof that there is credible fear. Then that person will be given a hearing in front of an immigration judge.
But immigration attorney Alejandro San Miguel sees how it creates an obstacle.
I have lots of clients that tell me I never did, let's say, something simple such as a police report because they fear further persecution if they do such police report.
Which could lead to a bad result.
They come into immigration court lacking these documents, and immigration judges might find that they don't have enough documentation to prove their claim.
For those who are granted asylum, they're for other reasons.
The police or other folks will not treat them correctly.
San Miguel believes there needs to be a solution.
The United States has to work with these other countries to try to identify the problem of why people are fleeing and trying to come back in, and they have to work with other countries in order to solve that.
He hopes immigration reform comes soon for those seeking asylum.